There was a time when I thought that love was supposed to hurt a little, that bending, shrinking, and stretching myself to fit into someone else's life was just part of being committed. I didn't even realize it was happening at first. How slowly I started fading from my own story. It started with small things. I stopped listening to certain music because he didn't like it. I changed how I dressed because he had opinions about what was too much. I canceled plans with friends more than I'd like to admit, always choosing him over the people who once grounded me. In the name of compromise, I kept giving things up. Piece by piece, I was handing myself over, thinking it was love. I thought being chosen meant being available 24/7. I thought love was about adjusting to someone else's preferences, even when it clashed with my personality, even when it silenced my voice. I thought patience meant waiting for him to treat me better, and that strength meant not walking away. But somewhere along the way, I stopped laughing the way I used to. I stopped journaling, stopped writing, stopped checking in with myself. I became a ghost in my own home, present but disconnected, smiling in photos but hollow in real life. I convinced myself this was the price of love, that if I just held on a little longer, if I was just a little more understanding, maybe he would meet me halfway. The turning point came one afternoon. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back at me, not just physically, although the stress had taken its toll, but emotionally, spiritually. The light in my eyes had dimmed. I didn't know what I liked anymore. I didn't know what I needed. And the scariest part, I had no idea how to ask for it. That moment broke me open, not in a loud, dramatic way, but quietly, like a wave that finally stops crashing and leaves you gasping for air. I realized I had been holding my breath for months, maybe even years. So I started small. I went to therapy. At first, I barely knew what to say, but slowly I found the words. I began journaling again, pouring out thoughts I hadn't given myself permission to feel. I stopped justifying bad behavior as love in progress. I stopped mistaking emotional neglect for compatibility. I learned what boundaries were, not as a punishment, but as protection. I stopped answering calls past my own limits. I started saying no without guilt and yes to things that lit me up inside. I took myself on solo dates, sat in coffee shops with a book, walked through parks with no destination. I reclaimed silence, not as emptiness, but as peace. It wasn't a linear path. Some days I missed him. I missed the routine, the comfort, the illusion of companionship. But I never missed the way I felt when I was with him. The constant second guessing, the emotional contortion, the feeling of being invisible. Rediscovering myself was like learning a new language. At first, it felt foreign to prioritize my joy, but with time, it became natural to check in with myself, to ask, is this what I really want? And honor the answer. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see someone who fought her way back to herself, not because she hated him, but because she finally chose to love herself more. I see someone who knows that real love doesn't ask you to become someone else. It meets you where you are, encourages you to expand, and never dims your shine. I'm not bitter. I'm not broken. I'm just awake. Awake to the truth that love, real love, should never cost you you. And if it does, it's not love. It's a transaction dressed in affection. To anyone listening who feels like they're disappearing in the name of love, come home to yourself. You're allowed to take up space. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to leave the room or the relationship if you no longer feel safe, seen, or supported. Choose the kind of love that feels like coming home, not like losing yourself,